think we can go ahead and get started. So I'll start by introducing myself. My name is Bradley Fuller. I'm a graduate student in the Library of Science and Information Technology. Uh, Also a graduate reference assistant at Ellis Library here at Mizzou. And today I'm just going to give you a little overview of JSTOR, some of the content that's in it, how you can research it, basic search strategies for going through JSTOR, and some of the other special tools specific to JSTOR. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so our agenda for today, like I said, I'm going to start with just a brief overview, talk about the kinds of content that are in JSTOR. The bulk of this presentation is going to go over basic and advanced search strategies. So it's going to be a combination of just very basic search strategies that you can use that work great within JSTOR, but that you can also take with you to other databases, other research situations. Then we're going to get into some more advanced search strategies that are more specific to JSTOR. And like I said, that'll be most of it, but I'll save some time for understanding and utilizing search results. And then we'll spend a little bit of time talking about some of the special other tools that JSTOR offers. We'll finish with questions and answers. I will say now I've opted for a slideshow because I'm going to go over a lot of different concepts, and that seemed like the most seamless way to introduce these concepts to you. However, if any of this is unclear, or if anyone would like to see a live demonstration towards the end, we could probably arrange that. So let's get started. So what is JSTOR? Well, it contains full text, mostly full text. I'll say that right now. Almost everything in there is full text. There's some exceptions, but from 2,600 journals, 1,200 publishers. Publications dates range all the way back to 1665 to the present day. This third point here, there are journals available for more than 75 disciplines. However, it strongly skews towards humanities and social sciences. That's the great bulk of the content is going to fit humanities and social sciences. That being said, it's a great kind of wild card option if you want to think outside the box and you're researching in these other fields. JSTOR does have some content for science and mathematics, just not as much as humanities. Lots of ebooks, over 85,000, and a pretty good size collection of primary sources. Those are spread across multiple collections, and I'll touch on that a little more later in the presentation. So in terms of journal content, most of the journal content is peer-reviewed publications, but there's also, like I said, primary sources, and there's a lot of content that just predates the peer review process. Almost everything's full text, but you might not be able to access full text for everything, and a lot of that's going to depend on your library's licensing agreements with JSTOR. So I think Mizzou's got a pretty good access, but there's still some stuff that we don't have access to on there. Another thing to keep in mind is that a lot of this content has what's called a moving wall, meaning it may take 3 to 5 years for a lot of this content to actually arrive on JSTOR. So it's not always cutting edge, but that's not true across the board. Some stuff gets published and within a year it's on JSTOR, but a substantial portion has this moving wall. So that's something to keep in mind. So searching in JSTOR. So big search box right in the center of the home page, pretty easily accessible. It supports full text keyword searching across everything, all the available content. So like I said, most of this is full text cover to cover. So you can search by keyword for anything that's in between those covers. If you're looking for letters to an editor or something in the index in the back, that's all searchable. So I'm going to get into the basic search tips. The first base, and these are excuse me, these are search tips that are going to work well in JSTOR, but they're also going to work well in just about any database. This first one is use quotation marks. Placing words within quotation marks is going to enable you to search for exact phrases. So in my example, I have call me Ishmael. That's the first sentence from the novel Moby Dick. And when I enter it with the quotation marks, it's going to bring back everything contained within JSTOR that has that exact phrase. The next search tip, and this is another one that you can take with you to other databases, is to use Boolean operators, and, or, and not. In this example, I have war and peace. That's just some visual representation. Let's talk a little bit more about it. So and is the operator that you want to use to narrow your search. So in that example, war and peace, if I did that search, it's going to bring back everything that contains both of those terms, but not the results that contain one or the other. So it's going to limit it in that regard. If I want to, and I have another example, blue and yellow, earth and sky, same thing. It's going to bring all the results with both of those terms. If I want to expand the search out, I'm going to use the or operator. What that's going to do, it's going to show me everything containing, if I use blue and yellow, blue or yellow, I should say, it's going to bring back everything that has blue, everything that has yellow, and everything that has both blue and yellow. So it's going to greatly expand it. The not operator is if you're wanting to find a search term, but you want to exclude another term that might be associated with it for some reason. So if I was using, again, blue and yellow, blue not yellow will bring back everything with blue and deliberately exclude yellow. So that's another way to narrow the search. And there's just some visual representation of how it would look in the search box for the or operator and the not operator. So this next one's a little more complicated, but it's also a search tip that works well in multiple databases, including in JSTOR. That's grouping combined search terms. So in this example, I have rain and then in parentheses, Britain or, and then in quotations, United Kingdom, all enclosed in the parentheses. So this gets a little bit complicated. Let's talk a little bit more about it. So when you use parentheses, it's going to give you the ability to determine the order in which those search terms are combined. So this example, this is kind of complicated to explain, but, or just sort of confusing to explain, but if I search for rain and then in parentheses, Britain or United Kingdom, it's going to bring back the results that contain the term rain and either Britain or United Kingdom. If I don't use that parentheses, it's going to bring back rain and Britain or just United Kingdom by itself. So again, it's a little bit confusing. And if anybody has a question, I can go over it again. But it is definitely something worth having a handle on because it can target your search in a totally different direction. And depending on how you do this, you're going to get totally different search results. So is that clear? If anybody has any questions, again, just put it in the chat. I'll try my best to get to it. Let me make sure I can see the chat first. Okay. Go back to. Sorry, y'all. Okay. So the next basic search tip is searching for multiple spellings. And you can do that with what's called the tilde symbol. And that's just a squiggly line. It's usually located beneath your escape key on the keyboard. Here I have sort of a variant spelling, not as commonly used, of the author Dostoevsky. You don't see this as much in the States, at least. And I've put that tilde symbol at the end. Now also notice I have what's called a field abbreviation here. I'm not going to talk about that right now. I'm going to cover that a little bit later in the presentation. For now, let's just focus on the tilde symbol. When I put that at the end, it's going to bring back search results that include everything that has the spelling I chose, as well as any variant spellings. So here we have Dostoevsky with a Y at the end. Okay, another way to look for variant spellings or alternate spellings is to use wildcards. And there's two really common ones. One is a question mark, which is going to do single character searching. And how that works is, let's say I want all the variant spellings of woman. In this example, I put the question mark over the vowel. It's going to bring back woman, women, and any other alternate spelling that might exist. So Middle English, woman with a Y there. The asterisk works very similarly, but it's going to use multiple character searching. And usually you're going to use that for a word that has a lot of different endings. So here in this example, I have behavior, and that's going to bring, if I put the asterisk at the end of that, it's going to bring back all these variations: behavioral, behaviorist, behaviorism, etc. So some of the rules for this are you can't use a wildcard at the beginning of a word, and you can't use it for a term in quotations. So only single words, you can't use phrases. That's just the visual representation there. And for the multiple character searching. Okay, so those were all the things I've covered so far. Again, they work great in JSTOR. You can also take them with you to other databases. Now I'm going to get into stuff that's more specific to JSTOR. The advanced search function is pretty handy on JSTOR. You can access that just from the home page at the top. If you click advanced search, it's going to open this page right here. And there are some advantages to it. As you can see, there's a drop-down menu here. If I click on this, the default is all fields for keyword searching, but you can narrow the field to author, item title, abstract, or caption. You can also use the Boolean operators through a drop-down menu. So if you don't want to type it out in the search, they have a drop-down menu with the and or not options. They also have what's called the near operator available in the drop-down menu, and then it's got these numbers 5, 10, 25. So what that does, the near operator is going to look for combinations of keywords within 5, 10, or 25 places of each other. That's also only going to work with a single keyword. It's not going to work for anything in quotations. So in this example, blue near 5, yellow, that's going to find everything that contains an instance of blue within 5 words of yellow. But I couldn't do it with like aqua blue. It has to be a one-word search. And there's what that looks like. So this is still the advanced search page. It's the same page that you can access from the homepage of JSTOR. This is just what it looks like when you scroll a little further down. And there's a lot of filters. You can narrow item type. We have articles, reviews, books, research reports, pamphlets, etc. The language menu is fairly extensive. I have it selected on French right now. Publication date, you can change, and I think that goes all the way to the present. So this is something that will only work for journal content, but there is a way to limit the search to a specific discipline for journal content. And there's several checkboxes in a discipline list. And let me go ahead and show you that. I think it's on the next. Yeah, so this is still on the advanced search page. If you just scroll down to the bottom, there's a journal filter. And you can select as many of these as you like, or as few. I have art and art history selected here. And then even within that field, I could select specific journals that I'm interested in or that I'm not interested in. This is a very long list too, so it goes down quite a ways. So the next search tip, this is very similar to the near operator, but if you want to do it with just the basic search box without using the drop-down menu, and also I think there's a little bit more room for, you can use different numbers, I think, as well. It's called proximity searching. What it does is it allows you to search for terms within a set number of words of each other, using again the tilde symbol, that squiggly line under the escape key. What you would do is you would group the keywords you want together in parentheses, first in quotations with the tilde symbol, then the number of spaces you want them to be apart from each other in the parentheses. And that's, so like in this example, purple mountain with the tilde symbol 10, it's going to search for all instances of purple and mountain within 10 words of each other. And I'm not sure if this, I believe you can use more numbers than just the 5, 10, 25. Now, what I'm not positive about is whether it has to be multiples of 5 or not, but I think you do have a little bit more freedom. And that's what it would look like there in the basic search box. So this is another search tip. This is one probably that would be less commonly used, but if you want to increase the term relevance of a given keyword, you can use the caret symbol. That's that upward facing arrow. It's on the number key on the number 6 usually. And then you would follow that by a number that corresponds to the importance you designate for that term. In this example, I have blue, caret symbol 7, yellow. So what that means is if I was to enter this, I would be performing a search for blue and yellow, but blue would be deemed more important than yellow by a magnitude of 7 or an order of 7. I'm not sure how JSTOR works this out. Personally, I don't know. It's hard for me to fathom a lot of relevant situations for this, but it's there if you want it. And I don't think there's any limitations on which numbers you can use or anything like that. And that's what that would look like in the search box. So field abbreviations, I touched on those a little bit earlier. You can narrow your search results to specific fields. There is a drop-down menu in the advanced search, but you can also use this kind of code here. Some of the frequently used field abbreviations are AU for author, JO for journal title, etc. You can use any of these by putting them in parentheses, adding a colon after the field abbreviation, and then whichever keyword you're searching for that corresponds to that. So let me show you what it would look like. So for author, I'm choosing the AU for the field abbreviation. I got the colon, I got Poe in parentheses, and it's going to bring back only articles that were authored by somebody with the last name Poe. So I have Edgar Allan Poe at the top, and then somebody named Maya Poe after that. And that will work for any of those field abbreviations. Put them in parentheses, field abbreviation, colon, keyword. It's going to bring back the corresponding material. So I pointed out the language menu in advanced search earlier, but again, this is something you can do through basic search with code. It's LA for language is the field abbreviation. Again, use the colon. Most languages are going to be the first 3 letters. I believe there's a handful of exceptions just to make it confusing, but most of them are the first 3 letters. So if you know, like that's going to get you by most of the time. Let me show you what it looks like. So I'm going to put in this example, you put your keyword first. You put the parentheses around it, your keyword, then the language, field abbreviation, colon, and the language you want. In this example, I'm searching for every article written in French about the author Camus. And as you can see, it brings up only material written in French about Camus. Is all this clear so far? Does anybody have any questions? Let me see. I see something. Oh yeah, I missed this earlier. So I have, is the caret 7 the number of times the word blue appears in the article retrieved in your example? So no. I'm not sure how JSTOR arranges this, but what it's supposed to do is it's supposed to give more weight to the term blue. Like if I was using that blue caret symbol 7, then the yellow, I'm searching for blue and yellow, but blue is deemed 7 times more important. So blue should theoretically appear 7 times more frequently than yellow in my search results. I'm not sure the utility of this, but it is something that is available. I hope that answers the question. Okay, so we've kind of gone over some of the basic and advanced search strategies in JSTOR. Let's talk a little bit about how to make sense of these search results. Let me check the chat one more time. How would one know what number to put there? That's going to be just depending on your personal preference or research needs. So again, I've never encountered a research situation where I knew specifically like how much more important one term was than another. But some people that are maybe in more advanced research might be thinking along those lines. So somebody might say, I'm studying Shakespeare and Milton, but I am twice as interested in Shakespeare as Milton for this subject. So they would do the same kind of search with the caret symbol and a 2, and then Shakespeare would be given twice as much weight as Milton. But really, it's just all dictated by the researcher themselves and what needs they have. Okay, so this is the results screen when you've done your search. It's going to look the same regardless of whether you do a basic search or an advanced search. There's a lot of filters on the left-hand side that you can use to narrow your search results. You can narrow it by academic content, journals, book chapters, research reports. And this varies sometimes too, depending on what kind of search you did. I think sometimes it'll show pamphlets and other types of materials that you can narrow it by. Primary source content, same kind of thing. There's other options that are sometimes available depending on what you searched. Here we just have serials. And then, of course, you can manually enter the publication date range. Then further down on the left-hand side, you can narrow by subject. And that's a pretty extensive list. I just have anthropology selected there, but you can select as many or a few of those as you wish. So the last thing for understanding search results is this access type. And this just goes back to the licensing agreements. It just depends on what your school has access to, what you're going to be able to see. The default mode in JSTOR is to just show you the content that you have access to. But if you want to get a broader sense of everything in your field or whatever you're researching, you can go ahead and click all content and it will show you everything they have. You just might not be able to access it, but you might be able to get it through interlibrary loan or some other means if you're interested in it. Okay, so some search relevance tips. More unique terms are going to get more hits. The word post-structural is more unique than book, so it's going to get more hits. Phrase matches get more hits than keywords. If you do an exact phrase search, you're going to have the results are going to have higher relevance when they exactly match, as opposed to having some rearrangement of those words. All right, let's talk a little bit about browsing JSTOR. So browse is right there on the home page next to advanced search. And you can browse by subject, title, collections, or publisher. The subject, they have some pretty interesting curated subject collections. Here they have security, studies, and sustainability. And those are just kind of spotlighted collections that they look really nice and are interesting to peruse. That's the tip of the iceberg. This list goes way down, many different subjects. And you can just click on any of these and it will give you a range of content that matches those. You can browse by title. They're just listed in alphabetical order or by letter. And then again, divided up by journals, books, reports, pamphlets. The collections page is pretty fascinating. This is, again, just a small example of what they have. This page goes on quite a ways. Here's just 4 collections, but there's an extensive amount of archival material from different archives, museums, historical societies. And it's not just print. There are recordings, photographs, artwork, and some print as well. But this is kind of a place to just peruse and explore, and you never know what you're going to find. I mean, it's definitely worth checking out to see if anything in there corresponds with something you're interested in researching. But there's a lot of interesting stuff in there. Browsing by publisher, similar to browsing by title, just listed in alphabetical order there. So when you're done searching and you've got your sources together and you're ready to read them, JSTOR is a great place to do that. Just about everything, again, is full text, and just about everything can be read and browsed directly online through their webpage. It's this typical e-reader with the arrow that you click it to turn the page. If you're not a fan of that, like I'm not a huge fan of it, but it's handy that it's there. But if you're not a fan of it, almost everything on JSTOR is also downloadable as a PDF. So you can search within full text, again, everything cover to cover. You want to make sure if you're searching, let's say in a journal, you want to make sure that if you're trying to search directly in that issue, that it's selected in this issue, or if you're searching throughout the entire journal collection in this journal. Hitting all content is just basically performing a new search. So that's just something to keep in mind. If you want to send the stable URL to yourself or someone else, it's almost always directly located to the left here, and you can just copy and paste that. For citations, every item is going to have, most of them have the PDF on the right and the save button, and under that you're going to see a button, cite this item. This is on the results page. When you click on this cite this item button to the right, it's going to bring up this menu, and you'll get pre-formatted citations in MLA, APA, and Chicago, and you can just copy and paste those too, or export with these tools here. So yeah, those can be emailed, exported, or copied. Then if you want to do multiple citations from the results page, if you just check these boxes right next to on the left, and then there's a drop-down menu up here at the top right. If you click on that, it's going to open up your options for doing a export of multiple. Okay, so here's some other tools that are sort of unique to JSTOR that they offer. The first is Workspace, and all these tools are available right here in this tools menu next to browse on the home page. So Workspace is a place you can organize all your research. I don't know if any of you are familiar with citation management tools, but it's sort of like a built-in thing like that within JSTOR that only is going to work with JSTOR, but you can save items to that space. You can put your citations together in folders for different topics and projects. You can annotate within there and move things around and delete them. This is what it's going to look like when it's empty. You see there's a create folder button over here on the right. So you could either create that first or when you're in the process of adding something. So here, let's say I want to create a folder for postmodern fiction, and I'm doing some research on that. I found this article I like. I can go over here to the save button to the right and save it to Workspace. Now in Workspace, I've already created a folder for postmodern fiction, and I've inserted the article right there. The next tool is called the text analyzer. I wanted to tell you about it because it's a prominent part of the website. However, at least the last time I looked at it, it was still in beta form and it's not working too well in my estimation. However, it could have been user error. I didn't really get it to do the functions that it's advertised to do, but I still suggest people, if they're interested, check it out. You might have better luck than me. Let me explain what it's supposed to do. So when you go to text analyzer, you should be able theoretically to drag and drop any document of your choosing into this box, and then JSTOR will perform a scan of it for keywords and then be able to match that with relevant documents in their collection. So basically matching it up with other keywords in their collection. Again, I tried this with numerous documents and I just struck out with it, but it could have been user error, but worth checking out. Again, you might have better luck than me. Another tool is the Research Basics course, which is just a self-paced online research skills course. There's 3 modules on searching, credibility, and citations. And this is just a great way to sort of brush up on research skills, or if you're completely new to doing this type of research, or just to find out where you're at. I think there's a scoring or grading component to it to let you know sort of what you know and whether you've kind of grokked that area or not. And it's free, so it's another handy reference tool. Lastly, I'll point out as far as other tools, the LibGuides for JSTOR, they're really good. I drew on a number of them for this presentation, and let me show you here. Oh, let me go back one. The LibGuides are not in the tools menu, and neither is the research basics course. So everything, the text analyzer and the workspace are in that tools menu I showed you. But if you want to do the LibGuides or the research basics course, it's going to be at the bottom of the home page, right here in this menu. And as of right now, they got 27 LibGuides. Again, they're fairly comprehensive. Chances are, if you hit a dead end or hit a wall with your research using JSTOR, one of these LibGuides covers it somewhere. I found them to be very comprehensive and helpful. These are the ones I drew on primarily for this presentation, if you're interested in seeing them. And those are, again, on JSTOR. And at this point, I just go ahead and open it up for questions and answers. If anybody has anything they'd like me to clarify, if you want me to show you anything in the actual database, happy to do so. Sure. How would you search within the collections? Let me pull it up. So while I'm here, I'll just show you probably the easiest way to access JSTOR. Go to the library homepage. You can go to looking for a database. You could click on J and it'll bring it up on the menu, or you can just type it in here. So where will the recording of the session be kept? You should be able to, I'm not sure the easiest way I found the previous recordings of workshops is to search for the topic in this search bar up here in the upper right-hand corner. I know there's one previously recorded version of this workshop that's pretty easily found if you search for JSTOR here. I'll just show you that real quick. So then here, the second result, online workshops. I click on that. And then there's a list here of recorded workshops available. Uh-oh. Sometimes Safari has some problems with that. Let's see. So recorded workshops available. And that's going to have a list, not just of this workshop, but all the recent workshops that have been recorded. So here, that's the one I did this same workshop last September. So there's a video of that. This one should also be posted on there, and any other workshop that you're interested in. As far as the collections, let me get back. see. So again, to access JSTOR, probably the easiest way would be from the library homepage, click on database. I'm going to type in JSTOR here. Just click on it. It's going to have you log in with your university credentials. All right. Then to look at collections, I believe the easiest way to access the collections would be to browse them. You can search, but it's going to be part of a search that covers all the material in JSTOR, not necessarily specific. I don't know if there's a way to specifically search, at least from the general search within the collections. Let's just open up one. So yeah, when you open up each one, it looks like there's a search bar box that you can search within that collection. I don't know if there's a way to do it from the basic search box. If that makes sense. But you can also browse. Does that answer the question? Okay. If anybody else has any other questions or would like to see anything else demonstrated, I'm happy to do so. How long will the recordings be kept? I don't know. I mean, as far as I know, it's permanent until a better, a more current version of it replaces it. So I don't know if there's an exact timeline for that, but it should be up there for the foreseeable future. Well, again, I've reached the end of my presentation, but I'm happy to stick around if anybody else has any other questions. That's a good question. I have a question here. Do we need to get access to use Workspace? So you don't have to have any special access to use it, but you're going to want an account if you plan on using it a lot or for long term. I think you can save stuff on there only on a temporary basis without an account. You can create a free account, I believe, through JSTOR, and then that will allow you to save things indefinitely in Workspace. And I thank all of you for attending. Well, if there are no further questions, I guess that will conclude the presentation for today. If there are any more, I'm happy to stick around, but if not, I'll go ahead and wrap it up.